Hi, this is Brian Timoney and welcome to this seminar on the secrets of great acting revealed. And what I would like to do today with you is really take you through the key areas, ingredients and concepts of creating great acting and take you through the process that you have to go through to arrive at that point. So let's have a look at the two main ingredients to creating great acting. The first is the ability to recreate experiences within yourself. So what I mean by that is that as we play characters and different events that we're trying to portray, it's important that we're able to bring on the correct emotional experience for the character at that point, and that we're able to do it at will. And what I mean by at will is that it's not a hit and miss event. It's a process that we go through. We know that when we do certain things, it will produce certain experiences again within ourselves, so that we're able to create inspiration, if you like, at will. The other key ingredient here is the ability to express experiences without fear. Now, the thing is that when we bring on these experiences, we start to get impulses and desires to do things as actors. However, sometimes we start to have this internal dialogue about whether we should or shouldn't take an impulse. And great acting is really about allowing yourself to take these impulses and desires to do things when you're in the moment, in the work, because without them we actually stop our own creativity. Because if you stop yourself from actually taking an impulse, a creative impulse, then we stop the creativity of the scene, and potentially we are robbed of what the possibilities could be within that scene as well. So those are the two key ingredients here, is the ability to recreate experiences within yourself at will, and the ability to express those experiences without fear. So let's look at method acting. Now, method acting is probably the most successful acting technique in the world. It's used by many, if not all, of Hollywood's leading actors, and I'm talking about the top creative actors here. People like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, Angelina Jolie, Jack Nicholson, Daniel Day-Lewis, Sean Penn, Mickey Rourke, and the list really does go on. Now, there's a very good reason why they use this approach. It works. It's as simple as that. It really does work. And they're in a situation where they have to have a dependable process. They've been paid a lot of money to make sure that they produce performances of a top quality, and they really do need a process to arrive at that, and that's why they use the method. Here's an interesting statistic for you. 75% of Best Actor Oscar winners since 2000 have been method actors. Now, you could say that's coincidence, but it's a pretty high percentage for it to be a coincidence. These top actors are using this approach to create work of an extraordinary standard, and what they have discovered is that the method is the best way to do that. So what is method acting, and why is it so successful? Well, it's consistent. We touched on that before. When you're in the situation of being directed and you're in a production, you have to have a way of producing emotional experiences and experiences in general on a consistent basis. It shouldn't be a hit and miss event. We shouldn't be crossing our fingers and hoping that inspiration will descend. It should be something that we can bring on at will. It's dependable, it's something that you can really trust, so that when you're under pressure, you're able to work in a certain way with this process and know that you're going to get certain results. It's in-depth. This approach is not a light approach. It's a real in-depth process to produce a high believability in your work. It's 100% believable. So it's really about not faking. For example, some other approaches to acting are really about the actor recreating what emotional experiences look like. So for example, if the actor is required to laugh hysterically or cry hysterically, whatever it may be, instead of actually recreating the emotional experience for real, the actor will try and fake it. And really, it's, we shouldn't really be in that position, because we are capable of bringing on these experiences again at will and creating something really in-depth and believable on a consistent basis. So how does the method work? Well, the foundation of the method, and one of its key sort of elements, is sense memory. Now, this is really the an interesting tool that we use within the approach, and it's based on the premise that the human instrument, which is you, is impacted through your senses. So, for example, you see things, you smell things, you taste things, you touch things, you experience the world through your senses. Now, when we combine this with your memory, it becomes a very powerful tool. So, for example, if you hear a piece of music that reminds you of a relationship that you've been in the past, it can bring back all the feelings and experiences that you had at that time. If you're really hungry and you think about your favorite food, you actually begin to physically salivate. So you can see that these thoughts, the senses in conjunction with your memory, can have a physical, mental impact into you, basically. And I'll refer to you as your instrument, because in this art form, that's what we've got. Your own physical being is the instrument that you have to create your work. Improvisation is also important. We want to create the illusion of first time, the illusion that you're saying and doing things for the first and last time in your performances. And we want to keep things impulsive and fresh, and improvisation is a great way of doing that. And there's different kinds of improvisation within the method that you may not have heard of, but they are fantastic ways of bringing out this type of real impulsive work. Being yourself is really important. It's about bringing you to acting. It's not about ridding you, or you getting rid of all your foibles and the way that you are. It's actually about bringing all that to acting. It's really important. It's important to understand yourself as well, because sometimes your own conditioning will help you play a part and sometimes it won't. So it's important, A, to understand yourself. It's important to be yourself and to bring you to acting, and the method really is all about doing that. Taking your impulses, we've talked about this earlier on. It's a really important part of the creative process, that you take your impulses and your desires. An extensive practice, well, with anything in life that's worth having, practice makes things perfect. So the practicing element of this really requires you to go through the technique and practice the tools to create that high level of acting. And it's challenging, but ultimately very rewarding, and really does produce results of an extremely high standard. So that's the end of today's seminar, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.